And so for us, you kind of need paramilitary units to go around looking for poachers. For me to take on a heavily armed poacher with an AK-47, well, yeah, it's not really going to happen. So no, absolutely. Our very presence here is a deterrent to poachers, and that's why rangers love to have tourism operations on these reserves, because it means that there's a presence all the time. There are always people around driving. We'll see footprints of people crossing roads. We'll see people walking through the bushes. There's always a good chance we'd catch poachers, but we wouldn't actually engage them, because you can get yourself into quite a lot of trouble unless you're very well trained for that sort of thing, which I am inescapably not. Now, in the old days, when poachers were less well armed, then it was okay. You know, you could just get a few chaps and go out and arrest a fellow. These days, you really got to have a bit of military training, which is not really, as they say, my vibe. Now, Nat.Geo Smith, I think, is on Arathusa, but I think he's got no signal, so that's why you haven't heard from him recently. But we'll go back to him eventually. Yes, I can't see much in the clearings here. We'll just go up to the top here and scan the clearings of Mala Mala. Right, we've got some nice birds here on the right hand side here. We've got Swainson's Franklins. Now, David W., while we look at the Swainson's Franklins, you say, where are the ostriches of Cheetah Plains and when do they breed? Where they are, I couldn't answer, I'm afraid, but they, you know, they're nomadic. They move around. They're not always in the same place. And as to when they breed, I'm going to assume it's sort of standard issue summer month breeding, but I'm going to check for you. Let's have a look quick. Ostrich. Oh, it's interesting. Can't find the ostrich. Stand by, David, I will find it for you. I promise. There we go. Right, breeding. Eggs laid one or more. Yes, we know that. Lots of eggs laid on the ground. Male does most of the night incubating. Females during the day. Doesn't say when. This is ridiculous. No, laying dates says throughout the year, but can be triggered by rainfall in arid areas. In Zimbabwe, all months except January. That's quite interesting. So all throughout the year. That's fascinating, actually. I had no idea. Thank you, David, for asking me that. Totally unseasonal breeders. These little Swainson's Franklins will do most of their breeding probably in the summer. I'm just trying to find the odd buried insect, I suppose. Ants, maybe? Termites? Alrighty, let's head back across to Nat.Geo Smith. He is back in signal range. I'm not sure what he has to show you.
Well, we're sitting on the edge of what was once a mighty waterhole. There's no water left, there's just mud, and there's a poor hippo looking very, very distraught with life. I think he is still alive. You can see he's moved the mud around him. But I think this hippo, I'm afraid, is probably not going to make it. Although animals do surprise you. Now, the reason we've been in that bad signal area was a very good reason, and we're very, very sad about why we had to leave that particular spot. Brian and I have been lucky enough to just see a female leopard that we've never seen before on Safari Live, and unfortunately it just seems to be in one little spot where we've got no signal. So we've been trying to reposition and move around that area for the last while to try get a visual or a spot where we had signal. And I'll let you know who the female is. It's Insele's last cub. Insele is the daughter of Salahesh, so it's Salahesh's granddaughter. She does not have a name. She's not seen very often. So we were very excited to show you, unfortunately. What I am hoping, fingers crossed, is she moves out of that black hole into a signal area just now. So we're not going to move too far. I heard some elephants behind me. Sorry about that. Just trying to see where those elephants are looking into the sun. So, hi Snow. Snow would like to know, does Africa have the biggest range of large animals, or just specific large animals? I would say most definitely. If you look at the large animals that occur in Africa, hippopotamus, elephant, rhino, buffalo, am I missing any? Giraffe, okapi, gorillas, lions. Okay. Just trying to see. I'm hoping those elephants don't live in a bad signal area as well, or don't live but are in. You can see the elephants just make them out. There we go. There the ellies. Okay, the elephants are just through here. It looks like quite a large breeding herd. Okay, there we go. Hello, Ellies. There we go. Lovely herd of elephants. You could hear them from the dam wall. Those low rumbles, a bit of a trumpet. A young female walking in the golden light. So elephants are having to move big distances at the moment between food and water. Actually sounds like there's a lot of elephants around here. I can hear some more deeper in the bush, breaking branches. There's a young, looks like a young bull there. Here comes another young boy. Hello, mister. Lovely backlighting. Shauna, I left her about 2 minutes ago unattended. She's still sleeping in the drainage. Over. Look at that beautiful light this winter's evening. It's amazing how an animal that size can melt into the bush and disappear. Okay. Now, I really hope that that little female leopard is going to come out of the little dip she's in, and hopefully we'll have some signal there. So we're not going to stay too far away from the area, but I've just spotted a beautiful big bird. Here we go. Quite an iconic species in Africa, the African fish eagle. Now that is juvenile. It hasn't fully got its adult coloration yet. You can still see there's a bit of brown and white mixture around the head that will turn into pure white, and that beautiful deep dark chocolate brown on the wings. Now, of course, they're taking advantage of all the catfish that are caught in the mud of the Arathusa waterhole. Beautiful. So peaceful out here. Apart from the elephants breaking trees behind us. That leopard is about 300 meters from us. Again on Arathusa, is it in our traverse? If so, why don't we go look for them? There is a very that is not on Arathusa. It is on Elephant Plains. It's outside of our traverse. They've got multiple dens there at the moment, so we cannot go across there, unfortunately. Very interesting. So I'm not exactly sure what year this female leopard was born, but I just want to say a couple of years ago, so she could be 2-3 years old. This is also what was considered core shadow territory. So Salahesh has been here. Salahesh has been here recently. Salahesh just behind the lodge. Now, in my excitement to follow up on that unknown female leopard, we forgot about the nearly impossible tree quiz. I think now is the perfect opportunity. There we go. Let's try. Well, I suppose it's not the nearly impossible tree quiz. It's the warm up to the nearly impossible. Yes, that's well put, Brian. Warm up to the nearly impossible tree quiz. So there we go. It's growing on top of a termite mound, and we don't see them too often growing on top of the termite mound. It's got beautifully whorled leaves. So when I mean whorled, they whirl around a spot when they come out. So there we go. You can see the leaves all come out, and they come out in a whirl. And not a tree that's often eaten by elephants, but now, because of the drought, very much taking advantage of any tree species. You can see the eddies have broken a big piece out of the middle there. and it broken quite a lot of the end branches. But it also has the most incredibly fragrant and beautiful flowers. It didn't flower this year because of the drought, and the flowers are white and yellow, and it's absolutely exquisite. It's one thing I'm quite sad about not flowering this year. So if you know what tree this is, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at WildEarth.TV if you know the answer to the warm-up to the Nearly Impossible Tree Quiz. Oopsie. Here we go. So it grows sometimes on top of termite mounds, other times along riverbeds. Okay. Speaking about trees, Brigitte and Peter would like to know, is there a tree in the bush that helps cure a stomach bug? Just hang on a second. No. It was a dove. I thought it was a bit more interesting than it was. That helps cure stomach bugs. There's quite a few different trees that you can use. You can use the roots from a leadwood, very high in lime, so obviously it helps with upset stomachs and things like that. And I'm trying to think, there's quite a few. A little succulent called a mother-in-law's tongue. I'm not even joking, that is its name. Okay. This plan of mine pans out. We slowly move through this area. I'm hoping she's going to come towards us. There we go. A little darker. I can't see whether it's a female or male just yet. Looks like maybe a female. Now, it's underneath a tambuti tree, and there's also some jackalberries there. And I think what it's doing is actually feeding off leaves that have fallen from the tree. Careful, Daika, there's a leopard nearby. A little one. Quite nice to see them relaxed. Normally they disappear at a rate of knots, but this one's going to slowly meander down into the little river system. Okay. It's getting to my sort of favorite time of the day, late evening, when some of the big cats start moving, as well as, of course, the wild dogs. And what a sighting you had with James on the sunrise safari. Remember, if you want to ask any questions, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at WildEarthTV if you're an emailer. I'm just keeping my eyes particularly peeled in this area, hoping to see that new female there. Okay. Well, we keep checking. Let's go see what James is up to.
We're going to be up for 1 second, and then we're going to lose. And you know what it's eating? We're quite a long way away from it, but it's eating the very last remains of that nyala that was killed there by the wild dogs today. Isn't that amazing? It's just kind of sniffing it out there, and we know that various antelope, duiker especially, are known for it, or are supposedly recorded doing it, eating meat. Especially in a drought time like this there, you can maybe see it sniffing on the fur of the nyala that died there. And it'll probably chew on a bone or two. It might eat a little bit of meat, but you know, they don't really have the stomachs, the acid digestion required to digest meat properly. But definitely to have a lick at the bones to try and get a bit of calcium and phosphorus. That is really cool. Hello Tiffany, you are Shanae's sister. Shanae, for those of you who don't know, everybody, is a guide at Nkoro, which is down the road behind us. Hello Tiffany, you want to know how big a duiker is when it's born, what it weighs? I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid, Tiffany, I'm not sure. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say roughly, if a big female weighs 17 kilos, I'm going to say that her youngster probably weighs in the region of 1 kilogram or so. But I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid. Exactly. Probably about 1 kilo. 2.2 pounds. Quite precocial. So they're absolutely able to stand very quickly and move around. Right, we've come back to Djuma, everyone, obviously, because that's where that hapless nyala was murdered by the wild dogs this morning. I always get into trouble when I say that. Anyway, I just think it sounds very dramatic. It wasn't a murder, obviously, it was just a kill for food. And we've come this way because the lions are not too far from here. Well, they are still probably about 10 minutes away. We're going to try and get to those lions with the cubs before the sun goes down. And I must just apologise quickly for the lack of a break in transmission, the lack of signal. Yeah, it's pretty normal for Rusty when she's coming back this way along the road from Cheetah Plains, but Wendy, we're working on, she's got a couple of new innards inside her, which are making things a little difficult, and it's just going to take a little bit of time for us to sort that out, and then she'll be fine. We're going to drive relatively quickly, but we won't go too fast. But we just want to spend a bit of time with him before the sun goes down. And it's not too far from going down now. I'd say probably about 30 minutes or so. So unless we see something utterly spectacular, we won't stop. But we're welcome to chat as we go. I may just point at something and then just keep going. So Zander better be on his top form. Difficult to be on top form when you know, it's difficult to move when you're in skinny jeans, you see. There is a kudu, a quick sighting of a very beautiful kudu bull with large horns, very nice. That was a great sighting. Let's move on. Doesn't get tired for me. I'm sure it's going to get very tired for him fairly soon. Ooh, the aerial just detached itself and hit Zander on the head. Are you alright? Yeah. He's okay, everybody. A mild dent in the back of his skull. Oh dear. I must confess, the engineering on that on that aerial is slightly unusual. No, you can't hold it. Sorry everybody, we've got a major problem. We'll just try and fix it quickly. Brilliant. Now, although he dresses like a hipster, his mind works like an engineer's. How are you doing there? Alright, well, hopefully that'll be sort of okay for now. Rebecca? I don't know if Brent is available, but I think this is a fairly major repair we're going to have to do here. He's not quite available, everybody. What is going on there exactly? It's got nothing to push against, has it?
Yeah, this thing.
Has something come off it? Has something come off it?
No, I just strapped the
right.
bungee. It was like this to keep it, but this...
Ah. Okay, let's go back to Brent quickly, everybody. We're going to try and quickly fix this, and then we'll go to the lions.
Whoa, so it seems like the gremlins are rife in Arathusa today, so we're going to head back towards Djuma. Hopefully we'll find something there. So I'm going to go back towards that area where we had tracks of Karula on the sunrise safari, on the bush walk, and see if we can find anything in that area. Quite exciting. But the one wonderful thing about being out here in the bush is you never know what could be around the next corner. So hopefully lots of things. Ooh, so maybe the tree wasn't as easy as we thought it was. We've had fig, milkwood, I think you meant milkberry, but it's not, and a terminalia. Those are all unfortunately incorrect. If I do see another one of those trees, I will stop. Mauricia is wondering if we get any of the cottonwood trees with the pink flowers in this area. I don't think so, Mauricia. I don't know. I don't even think cottonwoods occur in Africa. You might have to give me the first part of their scientific name and I'll let you know. Sometimes with quite a lot of tree species, I'm afraid I'm a bit bad with the common names, but a bit better with the scientific names. But I've never heard of a cottonwood in Africa. There are some kapok trees, maybe, but even those, most of the kapok species have been introduced from India and Asia. Trees we have with red or pink flowers, we've got scotias, weeping boer beans, an African flame tree in Central Africa. What else? I'm trying to think. Sorry, it's getting a bit nippy. I'm just pop my jacket on. I'm just trying to think of any other. Oh, making this a little bit more difficult than it should be. There we go. Oh, nearly there. Oh, there we go. Now where'd my ears fall to? Okay, that's why it has a clip, so I can't lose it constantly. Otherwise, I probably would. Okay, there we go. Let's get this one. There we go. That's a bit better, a bit more toasty. So apparently, Tracks of Shadow has headed south into Hoffman's. Laura and Anne, well done. You guys are spot on and correct. It is indeed a gardenia. the low-felt Gardenia Volkensi, the tree of the people in Afrikaans. Now, volk is the Afrikaans word for the folk, the Afrikaans people, and it was called the Gardenia Volkensi. So the trek Boers, the guys who tried to move into the interland of Africa to get away from the British, when they ran out of certain parts for their ox wagons, the gardenias were used to make axles. So that's where the scientific name for that comes from. Opa. Hi, Arena. Arena's wondering if we get rubber trees in Africa. We do have certain rubber tree species in Africa that have caused some of the worst atrocities caused by colonial powers in what was then the Belgian Congo. People were forced labor to harvest rubber from the Belgian Congo. So yes, but not down here. Oh dear, this thing is just not working for me today. It keeps me falling out the whole time. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so we're about to leave Arathusa and head back to Djuma. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone here in the west. Heading back to the north, thank you stations, and swap over to the northern channel, which is Djuma. Stations crossing back from the west, can I have an update for the afternoon, please? Copy, thank you very much, Tax. So, Tax wants to know. 130 Ingwe, but crossed into EP and then Shadow into Hofmann's. Okay, so we're nearly there. What have you spotted, Brian? Oh, you're just having a look around, giving everyone a nice sort of view of our surroundings as we trundle along towards the boundary of Arathusa and Djuma, which is actually just there. James. Let's see what Commander Bond's up to. Okay. Oh. And there we are. There's Triple M. So apparently this is where Shadow crossed into Hofmann's with tracks of the cub, so the cub is still alive and doing well, so that's always good news. Hi, Jen, who's in Dubai. Jen would like to know, when the cubs, Shadow and Krula's cubs, were younger, were they a threat to each other? I think you mean, was Karula a threat to Shadow's cubs and Shadow a threat to Krula's cubs? I would say yes. I think they definitely recognize the bond, but if she had to come across those cubs, there is always a possibility that it might end badly for the cubs. And I mean, although I was lucky enough to witness the only ever recorded case of leopard adoption that has ever happened, as far as we know, it might have happened, where a female leopard adopted her daughter's male cub. And actually, strangely enough, he became quite a famous leopard that adopted young cub in the southern Sabi Sands. I think it was the 5'5" Dudley Riverbank male. He might have been called something else in his older age once he became independent. But there were two boys. One grew up with his mom, and the other grew up with his gran. But they adopted it at quite an old age, probably about 5-6 months. Oh dear! Sorry, we do apologize. It seems to be in quite a technically fraught afternoon. So James is having to return back to the Democratic Republic of Congo to try fix the aerial. So we are going to head towards the lions, which means I have to be on the radio for a second. Excuse me. Station controlling the Zangara of Aubrey's. I think I confirm, make my way, and what is best access. Copy, thanks. So confirm vehicular access just to the east of Aubrey's Junction. Copy, thanks very much. Okay, let's go look for some lions. Now Herbie found these lions on foot earlier today. Always exciting walking lions on foot. I wonder how hungry the Nkahumas are. Maybe they'll take us for a treat, out for a hunt, dinner date. Hi, Sean. Sean is in Secunda in South Africa. Sean would like to know, he says, never seen lions eating a waterbuck. Is there any particular reason for this? Sean, there is a bit of an old wives' tale, an African myth, that lions do not eat waterbuck because of that gland that they use to secrete that oily substance over their fur, that it tastes bad. I, however, have seen lions eat many waterbucks, so I think that's not true, and I'm trying to think now. I've heard of the Nkahumas on waterbuck carcasses, just unfortunately outside of our Traverse area. So lions will eat waterbuck, and there might be just a certain area that they don't particularly fancy waterbuck. One must remember that animal behavior is quite often area specific as opposed to species specific. So lions here can behave completely differently, even to lions in different parts of the Kruger. Get going. We'll try, if the cubs are there, we're going to have to get there before it gets too dark, so I'm just going to speed up slightly. Hi, Jilly in York. Jilly is saying, well, if lions make a kill, do they not go for the throat like leopards seem to? Generally they do. It just depends on the circumstance. If you're referring to the Nkahumas on that buffalo kill on a few nights ago, the reason she was going for the nose hold rather than the throat hold is that was a particularly big buffalo bull. You might find if there'd been a male lion, sorry Kudus, hop, 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 sorry, we're in a rush to see some lions, hopefully you don't see them. Now, so generally the lions, and also with smaller creatures that leopard need to use the stranglehold on, lions are much bigger and stronger. They can just do the cranial bite, so bite through the top of the skull. But with that buffalo, sometimes with a lioness, it's a bit, the esophagus might be a bit too big, so they go for that nose hold. Also, that nose hold gives them a little bit of control over the head and those vicious horns. And what happens is that they bite through the nose, and it causes massive hemorrhaging from all the arteries and veins in that in the nasal cavities and that. And when the buffalo starts or is breathing heavily, it actually helps to kill the buffalo quicker because it drowns itself. So it inhales that blood in its nose, and it slowly fills the lungs, and that's how the Nkumas killed that buffalo on Sunday. Lots of impalas and kudus all over the place. Okay, we shouldn't be too far now. Definitely feel the temperature dipping as the sun dips to the west. But while we're rushing towards the lions, I'm still keeping a check out for any other creature that might pop out. Hi, Djuma. Djuma is in the UK, and Djuma would like to know, would the Birmingham boys have other prides opposed to the Nkuhumas and the Styx pride? Apparently they've been seen with another pride, I think it was the Torchwood pride, east near the Kruger boundary, and yes, they will, if they have the capability of getting more prides, more females, more genetic material to be passed on to future generations. And that's how their evolutionary brain works. The more females you can mate with, the better chance your genetics have of being passed down. Okay, so there should be a little track going off here. Somewhere here. Maybe up here. Did I get bad directions? Aha. Yeah, it looks like some vehicle tracks coming out here. Where are the kitty cats? Hopefully they haven't decided to move while we were on our way. Now every bush is looking like a lion. Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. There they are! Yay, they haven't moved. Let's get round where we can get a better view of them. it's almost the perfect time to arrive with lions, because they might be just about time to get up. Oh, wait, there's a Birmingham here as well. I did not know that. Hello, mister. I thought it was just some girls and some cubs. Okay. Hello, big boy. Let's try to find a spot where we can get a better visual. There are some attack of the aerial. I can see one cub. There could be a few more. Oh no, there's cubs everywhere. Suddenly spotted them here, down near the Birmingham boy. Hello, little. So there's 3 cubs here that I can see. 2 lionesses, 1 male. There we go, they're the 2 lionesses. The 3rd cub is just to the left in the bush there. You can just see him behind there. Okay, now I know where everyone is. Now I can plan my parking a bit better. Oh, and another male lion. So there's 2 Birminghams. Didn't see him earlier. You got him, Brian?
No.
I'm just going to forward that a little bit. Behind, in the straight line from the other one, sort of there. There you go, there's a 2nd male. A very flat cat. Okay, let's just see, I think we're going to be able to sneak through this little gap here. Should give us a better view of some of the littlies. Okay. There we go. How's that, Brian? Not too bad. The other 2 aren't in the best position, but these ones are. Okay. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed any other lions about, so I'm just checking. We've got 2 males, 3 cubs, 2 females. Now I know Jamie had a single lioness who was off. Oh, listen, they're calling the cubs. Mom, Mom. So Jerry Connor is wondering, is the infant survival rate of prey species better than predators? There are the cubs there. Probably not that much better. Hello. Now, there's just more of them. But yeah, I'd probably say it is probably a little bit better. Well, it looks like they're coming to investigate us. They're sneaking in behind us, those 2. Hopefully they come up to Mom. No. That looks like a good spot to have a snooze. What are you up to? Are you going to stalk your sibling, or are you going to have a snooze as well? Or are you going to stalk Mom and Aunt? I think I see a bit of mischief in that one. Yes, definitely. I see a bit of mischief coming our way. Oh, they are just too precious. Yes, that's a thorn tree. Oh, we're going back to stalking siblings rather than mom or aunt, because siblings not watching. Oh, but I stood on a thorn. And gave my position away. And attack. Very half-hearted attack that was. Just sit on you, I'll sit on you. Oh, big yawn. They are just too wonderful. Well, they're definitely looking like they have eaten. Again since the buffalo. What? Difficult to say. Some of the female, the mom looks a bit fatter than the others. I didn't have a good look. The Birmingham's, one Birmingham looks quite full, the other not so much. There you can see mom's quite rotund. So she's had a good feed recently. And then the other lioness looks like she's fed, but not too much. Oh, here we go. Mischief's on the move again. Oh, you're going towards the male. You're feeling very brave. I wonder if you're going to get growled at. No, lying down. Oh, second cub's up and moving back towards the two females. As it's going into stalk mode. Look at that. Crouching lower. What's it stalking? Stalking mom's tail or stalking a sibling? Sibling. Decided to take a break from stalking, but it's too strenuous. Let's see, are we going to stalk again? Decisions. Okay, now we're going to stalk mom's tail instead. No, we're still a sibling. Are we going to use mom as cover? That's the question, yes. Let's use mom as a bush. And patience. Lie down and wait again. Hi, Valeria. Valeria is wondering what my take on the injured cub is. I haven't seen it yet, Valeria, so I'm not going to comment till I see it. I think that might be it, but that cub hasn't moved since we've arrived here. Well, these are incredibly hardy animals, but as you know, around a carcass or a kill, there's always a possibility they can get injured. A swat from a male, getting in between a fight of an adult. Between an adult fight is very easily injured in those situations. But I've seen them come back from some incredible injuries, even little ones. But I haven't seen the injured cub up and about. These two cubs, I'm presuming, are not the injured one. I'm presuming it's the one sitting by itself off to the left. Oh, yeah, elephant upset about something. Alright, second lioness also looks relatively well fed now that she rolls over for us. But yeah, I'll have to wait till I see if they move, what the state of that injured cub is. Oh, here comes trouble. Playing with Auntie. Oh, I love those noises so much. Going to Mom now. Hi, Ma. Ooh, another trouble coming in. Here come the noises. I'm going to keep quiet. Little growls. It's amazing how quickly their little growls become quite big growls. Who's the king of the castle? Really flop off. There's Mom. You can hear them growling and playing behind. Liz is wondering, do male cubs tend to be shaggier around the neck and chest area? They do. Liz, oh, yeah, oh, not a big yawn. But at this age, not yet. Oh, there's a little bit of movement happening. Sometimes the cubs might cause the female to get up and move just from irritating it. And playing who's the king of Mom. With those sharp little claws, we'll dig into her. Oh, what has she seen? Or heard? She's only had a very focused look. Now, MG is wondering what happens first. Do the cubs stop suckling or does Mom stop lactating? Mom stops lactating first. Oh, let's have a look at what's happening at the other two. I just want to see if that is the injured cub. I get a bit upset. So far it looks okay. It's difficult to say without having seen that cub stand up or move. I can't can't comment just yet. Oh, sorry about that. Brian's having a party.
I am indeed.
See, the little one's playing back, so it might be okay. As I said, till it gets up and moves, I can't really comment. Okay. See, she's... I just want to see if that little cub gets up and moves at any time to see actually that injury. I haven't seen the injury, as I said, but you can see, there we go. It hasn't got up, but it is playing still. And it doesn't look in too bad a condition. And then, I mean, sometimes wounds that look completely ghastly are not that as serious as if it had happened to us. But of course it is a bit, just because I know there's an injured cub, it's a bit worrying that it hasn't stood up and moved and come to play with Mom and the other cubs. The other cubs have gone to it, but we can't really tell just yet. Oh, sweetness. Closing her eyes to keep those claws out while trying to give a bath. And any of you parents at home thought it was hard to give a human baby a bath. At least they're not equipped with razor sharp teeth and needle-like claws. It is getting a bit dark. We can stay a few more minutes. Let the camera work its magic. We don't have to put lights on. And of course there are 2 male lions here, which makes this whole scenario a much safer thing. No hyena in its right suspecting mind would approach lions when there's males around. Oh, it's time for dinner. Mom, Mom's like, no, you've had enough, and those teeth are too sharp. Wow, why, Mom, why? Wow. But I'm hungry. Proper whinger. Okay, there we go. Okay. No, I don't think... oh, there we go. I can see the limp. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you can see it's obviously sore, but it's playing. And now feeding. I don't think that injury is too bad. We're going to move our way out of the lines, let them continue on their nightly endeavours without us. While we do that, it sounds like James is back out on the road with some pachyderms.
We're having amazing elephant sighting here, everybody. Sorry we've been down. We've kind of cobbled together the antenna. It's back up, and we just popped around here, around the Gallagher waterhole, and these elephants have been fantastic. That's the mother. She's quite old, I think. As you can see, her tusks are very worn, and that last tusk there on the left-hand side that you've just seen has kind of broken and worn down. Then there is her youngster, and that youngster was no more than 1 foot from the vehicle. It was just astounding. Wonderful, wonderful sighting. Anyway, we're just watching them in the light here, and we're not going to put a light on them, so if it does get a bit dark, sorry about that, but we don't want to give them a fright. So I'll just allow the final control to tell me when you can't see them anymore. On my monitor they look okay. And there's quite a pregnant cow there. That's a very pregnant cow. See how fat her belly is? And you notice noticeably fatter than the cow that we were looking at, the older one with her withered tusks. Yeah, she's definitely pregnant. Very difficult times for her trying to get enough to eat. These elephants are starting to wear it as a result of this drought. And unfortunately, you know, that little bit of rain we had, although it's created a green sheen of grass, it's not going to do much for the elephants. It's not long enough for them to eat really, so they can't get a huge amount of bulk or nutrition from that tiny little or very short carpet of green that is now covering Djuma. Very subtle colours of the winter you can see there. The bronze and the grey, a bit of gold and dots of green. Just listen for a second as they feed. All we can hear is a few francolins calling in the background. One or two babblers. But it's really, we're into the changing of the guard now. Our first owls will start to call, maybe a nightjar. But I think there's a front coming in. I think it's going to be quite chilly tonight. The last of the crested francolins. They're all getting in on the act now. It's like the sort of fairly unskilled brass section in an orchestra. Just everybody blowing on their brass instruments at once. Stunning. So peaceful to watch elephants, especially in this kind of light. This is my favourite part of the day, I think. Just after the sun's gone down. There really is a real sense of peace. There's another few elephant behind us. Those ones have gone a little bit further away. So what I'm going to do is just roll back and swing the wheel. And with any luck, we will be able to see them nicely. No. Oh, it's not swinging. It is revving rather high, which is disturbing as well. There we go. They're whole lot more coming behind us. Now they of course will have to feed for most of the night, especially the bigger ones. The little ones will lie down at some stage and go to sleep for a few hours at a time. The other thing I must just say, because we're down in a bit of a dip here and going down towards a depression, and the air is therefore hanging in this area, we can smell these elephants. And they smell like sweet leather. That one's just a little bit nervous of being left behind. Tail out. Power walking. Let's move slowly down the slope here. You might get one last view of them. Wonderful. Well done, Kanda. Oh, it's such a wonderful smell, everyone. It just is so special. Especially mixed in with a bit of wood fire from the camp. We're quite very close to the camps. With the little one just listening to us. He's watching us quite carefully. Following Mum. We move a little bit further down the road. Another nice young bull right in front of us there. There we go. This camera is really very clever because that's very dark to my naked eye. You can just see the ear opening there and the very obviously square head. I think you can see that. You must just tell me if you can't, everyone. Square head of the cow. But I believe it is starting to get a bit dark. Let's spend 2 more minutes with them, and it probably will be too dark, and then we'll head off and see if we can't spot a creature of the night. Sorry about the aerial. Not much I can do about that. I can try and move slightly. No, I can't. Yeah, I think it's probably getting a little bit dark now. Now listen. Just listen carefully. Can you hear that? That's a drongo pretending to be a pearl-spotted owl. I think they do that to keep their territories empty and try and deter other birds, because a pearl-spotted owl is essentially a predator of other birds. So they're not. I don't think they do a very good impression of a pearl-spotted owl. But pearl-spotted owls are notoriously easy to con, and so maybe it's that their calls are so variable that the drongos can make sort of whatever impression they like, and the rest of the birds will stay out of their territories. And the other bird you can hear, my favourite out here, the white-browed scrub robin. Always when I think they've gone silent for the night, they give one last chorus. Okay, that was a wonderful elephant sighting. Let's move round back towards Djuma Dam, which is round the other side here. To drive quite carefully with our aerial like it is. It could shear off at any stage. And we're not alone anymore. We have the entire engineering department consisting of Connor Teagues. Connor is currently holding the aerial in place, which I suppose might be described as engineering. He's hanging precariously off the back of the car. We did offer to bungee him onto the car, but he said no, he'd be okay. Ooh, sorry. I'm going to ask you to try and get a shot of that moon. Just the sliver of moon there. Ah, look at that, with Jupiter hanging below it. Stunning. There we are. Isn't that nice? Zoe, great question from you. You say you've noticed the light starting to fade a little bit earlier every night in your part of the world. I'm going to assume, therefore, that you're in the United States or perhaps Northern Europe. And you say, is it getting lighter here? Yes, it absolutely is, Zoe. Although we are most certainly closer to the equator than you are, and therefore the changes are going to be less marked than they are where you are. They are certainly, the days are getting slightly longer every day. And, you know, when I went on leave, we had to use the spotlight for at least sort of half an hour to 40 minutes before the end of drive. Now we're just 8 minutes before the end of drive, and I suppose it's now kind of time for me to turn the lights on and the spotlight. So yes, making a big difference. And I think probably in about 2 or 3 weeks we will change the drives, because it's nice to have a little bit of night time at the end of the drive. About half an hour, 25 minutes, half an hour is a good time. People always, you know, when they come out here, they say, you know, that people often come out here and say, well, can we do a night drive? And the answer is yes, but, you know, unless you actually follow something into the night, it's often a bit of a letdown, especially with a camera, because the cameras are not great in the night time, even in this day and age. I think we're probably about 2 years off a proper camera that can handle really low light and still produce a nice picture. Kerry, you wondering about when we have to stop following in the animals. Is there a rule? It depends where you are. In many parts of the Kruger Park, in the public areas of the Kruger Park, you're not allowed out after sundown. So once the sun goes down, you've got to be in camp. You can't be following animals at all. But in these private reserves, there are no strict rules, no. There are strict rules about which animals you can follow, though. So you know that Brent left the lion cubs once the sun set. We don't view them at night because, you know, they're threatened enough, and, you know, lights sometimes attract hyenas and that sort of thing. So we don't want to create confusion. We want the pride to be able to protect them as easily as possible. Then we won't shine lights on elephants. They don't like lights very much. Oh, hold on. Here, we might lose the aerial here. So the diurnal animals we won't follow at night, but there's no actual strict rule about, say, a nocturnal animal like a leopard. If we wanted to follow a leopard in the night time, we could easily do that. Alright, we're going to drive round the corner here, down and up the other side, over the Djuma Dam, and then we'll head for home. I'm just going to quickly show you see if there's anything in the Djuma Dam, and then I'll say good night to you and hand you over to Brent for the last few minutes. It's a bit odd saying good night at 6 o'clock in the evening, I must say. It's kind of hardly afternoon yet. Let's just quickly go around the corner here, unless Brent has got something spectacular to show you. I don't think he does. No, he doesn't, so we're okay. You're not missing anything. Not sure why I think there's going to be something around the corner here, I just do. As Rebecca says, keep the faith, keep the faith. Yes, quite. Nope, nothing down here. Alright, well, we're going to drive up onto the dam wall and bid you a fond farewell. Of course, we will be seeing you tomorrow at 06:30 in the morning. That too will change sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry about the frustrations that there have been with the signal and the aerial. We'll hopefully fix that during the course of the night and be back up and running, possibly 3 of us tomorrow morning. Until then, stay safe and happy, and I'll hand you over to Brent for the last little while.
We're trying to get you an Inyala silhouette for the end of drive, and I can just make him out. I was hoping he's going to keep walking through, there he is, into a gap between the trees. It could be a spectacular screenshot. He's decided to keep still. Oh, we're going to wait for him. I think he's going to walk. Nice big male Inyala. There we go, he's on the move. Is he going to give you the Inyala silhouette we were looking for? No, don't walk there, there's trees. Not quite, but worth a try. There we go. Actually, oh yes, that's not too bad. Well, maybe if we move a little bit higher, we might be able to get a better silhouette. Maybe we can silhouette something else in this glorious African sunset. Brian and I are now on a silhouette mission. What can we silhouette next, Brian? I think we can silhouette a tree. I was going to say, it's maybe the only one we're going to get right. Yes. Unfortunately, there's no giraffe to silhouette against this magnificent sky. But it is just magnificent. Let's just take a moment to enjoy that. It is absolutely beautiful. And it definitely does give me a feeling of joy when looking upon that. And we can hear a Scops owlet calling. And some cicadas calling due to that little bit of rain we had. Absolutely stunning. Half hoping to hear those Birmingham boys start with their deep roar. Of course, that was not a Birmingham boy, that was me and my lion imitation. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they're listening. I don't think I've got quite the depth of roar that is needed to entice the males into roaring back. But again, it's been fantastic having you on the back of the vehicle with us. We do apologize for the technical difficulties and minor gremlin problems we had today. But from the killer bees, it's been great, and the tallest thumb in the world, the giraffe thumb. There we go. So we'll see you in a few short hours for the sunrise safari. Bonne nuit.